This is Doctrine of a Fighter. I just got it today. I plan to read it. It's by Jefferson McDonald, very knowledgeable person. So I'm very excited to read this. You can get it on Amazon. Go ahead and get it today.
Okay, so we have Chase here today. He's agreed to do this podcast with me, and we're going to do some rapid fire questions. So Chase, I'm going to start with some general questions, and then I'll turn it to more scriptural and spiritual questions. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that works with me.
All right, so what's your favorite color, Chase?
Deep blue.
Why deep blue?
Just a very beautiful color, and I just like it.
Okay, do you have a favorite sport?
Favorite sport is probably baseball.
Why baseball?
I just played it a lot when I was younger.
Okay, and what team do you like?
I'd go with the Cubs.
Are they in the playoffs this year?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The Yankees made it in, and my wife's very excited. What do you think of that?
Wish the Cubs did, but that's okay.
Okay, what's your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby? Probably just walking.
You like to walk?
Yeah, I like working out and do stuff physical.
Okay, so do you like to play like baseball too, since you like baseball?
If I can get people to play, but usually not a lot of people.
Do you play any high school sports?
I played a little bit of football in high school, but stopped after my freshman year.
Now, everyone in the church loves the Book of Mormon. Besides the Book of Mormon, what's your other favorite book of Scripture?
Or the Bible.
Old Testament or New Testament?
Both.
You like both of them, okay?
Both of them.
What's your favorite story in the Old Testament?
Probably the story of Job. Or
Job?
Job.
Yeah,
Job.
Job or Job. Okay, and then in the New Testament, what's your favorite story? Do you like the apostolic stories, or do you like the stories of Jesus Christ?
Stories of Jesus Christ.
Do you like the birth, or do you like the ministry? Do you like the miracles?
The miracles are good, but I think probably my favorite is the birth. I think the significance and the symbolism of it,
Yeah,
and a lot of different things.
what I love about it is thinking about the Jews, and they're waiting for the Messiah. Most people don't know he's coming, and then you see the shepherds, and they get visited by the angel. Okay, so what we are doing here today, I'm with Chase. He is a young single adult in our area, and he's agreed and been kind enough to invite me into his home so he can answer some questions and talk about being a fighter. So my book, Doctrine of a Fighter, it's dealing with how to get your hand raised in the last days, how to be a true disciple of Jesus Christ, and to become stronger and stronger every day in fighting against evil. So Chase, I want to start with my first question. Can you just start by kind of giving us some background of your childhood, how you grew up, and then as you're sharing that, I also want to know, is there a point in your life, Joseph Smith, when he was like, I believe 8 years old, he had that surgery where they had to scrape his bone, and I'm sure that made him a more fearless person and a stronger person for having had to go through such a horrific surgery. So share with us some things from your childhood that you want to share, and then kind of give us just an idea of something that happened in your life that you feel helped you grow and made you stronger.
All right, then. If I had to say something from my childhood that really helped me grow, I was born in the church, so I was very blessed to be able to be born in the church. I was baptized when I was 8. And so I had a lot of support and help as soon as I got to the point where I started going. But something that really helped me be strong in the church was easily when I was about 11. I had not made the best choices with family and everything like that, and we stopped going to church for a little bit. And that is definitely, through my testimony, stronger now in these days, because I've lived my life without the church for a little bit, and that strength that you get from being in the church and knowing that the church is true, it's helped me tremendously. I don't think I could go through the things that I've been through in the last couple of years if I didn't have the church. So I'd say that was my childhood strength.
So I remember a district leader I had on my mission. He had told me once that his testimony in the Book of Mormon when he was a child was there was days where they would be really good as a family reading the Book of Mormon, and then there'd be these gaps where they didn't read at all. And he said the drastic difference in the way they associate with one another when they read the Book of Mormon from when they didn't helped build his testimony. So from what I hear from that was there was a little time where you weren't going to church at all, and so you saw the difference, right?
Oh yeah.
Of not going to church and then going to church. Was there anything specific while you were attending church that sticks out to you? Was it something in primary or something you heard in sacrament meeting or?
Like when I was younger or when I was older?
Yeah, let's stick with younger for right now.
Younger, okay.
Put that other one in your back pocket and we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so big thing I heard, especially when I was younger in primary, obviously you sing a lot of hymns in primary. I did not like singing hymns when I was younger. I didn't like it. We would go around the room and stuff like that and sing and the little hymns and stuff. But definitely, I Am a Child of God is one of the hymns. And when I was younger, that was my favorite hymn.
Oh, wow.
And I understood it a lot more when I was older, obviously. But when I was younger, there was this feeling you got from some of these hymns that were just like, man, this is such an amazing thing to praise, to bring this song to life. You know, have all these, especially programs. We have primary programs, and they're just beautiful. Especially seeing it from if you have a kid or anything like that in the primary programs. I bet they're beautiful. I don't have a kid, but but I'm sure that it's a really magical.
Yeah, Elder Suarez, when we met a couple weeks ago, in a meeting, a leadership meeting with bishops and stake presidents, he had mentioned that go to the youth and let them know who they are and what their purpose in life is. So that's kind of like that hymn must have helped you get in the right frame of mind that you're a child of God. And I love that hymn too. When I first joined the church, I was a primary teacher. So my favorite part of being a primary teacher was opening exercises and singing all the primary hymns. I loved them. I was an adult, and I think I enjoyed the primary hymns more than the children did. So is there anything else that you want to share about your childhood that we haven't touched on?
No.
Okay, let's move into like your youth years, your from middle school and high school. What are some things that you experienced during those years that helped you grow?
So my middle school and high school years was when we were inactive in the church. That was hard. Went through a lot of trials that I definitely could have persevered more through if I had the Spirit. I could be able to get every night and pray, but I didn't do that when I was in high school and middle school, and I really regret that. It's a strengthening experience now to be able to go in and just be like, I have someone I can always count on 24/7. Lord is always there for me. But an experience of mine in middle school and high school.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Would you say you were a prayer? Did you pray a lot?
When I was younger, yes, actually. We'd pray every night. We all get in the family room or bedroom or something like that every night and pray. And I thought that was awesome. Yeah, when I was a kid, I guess this goes back to the childhood memories. When I was a kid, we were always, you're told, fold your arms, reverent, fold your arms, close your eyes. When I was a kid, I always thought, I closed my eyes because, Jesus is coming down and touching every single one of our heads as we're praying. And so I was always told never to open my eyes. But I opened my eyes one time and didn't see it, but I'm sure it happened. Middle school, I don't know. Experience-wise, there wasn't anything that made me stronger. I think if anything, during that times, I was just getting weaker and weaker.
What did you do mostly during your high school years?
Mostly during my high school years, I chose 2 or 3 friends that I just really had a good connection with, and we would play games. We would hang out sometimes, go to parks, different things like that. Regular youth stuff,
But they weren't members of the church?
They were not members of the church. No.
But they were probably good people, right?
Yeah, they were great people.
I don't see you picking a lot of bad people. I made a mistake. I had a lot of bad friends, but they were still good to me. I thought they were really good. So let's move up to when I met you. I met you at track. Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you want to jump forward to that, or you still have more to say about
I got one more thing to say.
Okay, say one more thing about high school.
Yeah, one more thing. I had this buddy in high school. Terrible friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He had friends that were doing all the wrong things at the wrong age. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get the details, obviously, but he even tells me himself that I kind of saved him, that I helped him a lot. He had all these friends doing bad things, and then junior year came around, and I came up to him and was like, "Hey man, you should hang out with me and so and so." And he's like, "I don't know, man. I usually hang out with these guys." And I'm like, "You shouldn't hang out with those guys." I just told him, I was like, "I'm telling you, you're not that kind of guy. He never did anything." They offered him a lot of drugs and different things like that, but he never did it. Never once. And I said, "You're
felt
good."
peer pressure or anything.
Never. I said, "You're a good guy, and I don't want to see you in 2, 3, 4 years end up like they are, because they're going bad places right now." And so that's just how kind of our story. We're best friends now. I talk to him every day, and yeah, I can't see myself not being friends with him. He's a good guy.
That's good.
Cares about everybody.
That's really good. It's always good to have good friends. So, can we move on to track now?
Yep.
So that's where I met you. That's where I first saw you. Was it Rachel that invited you to track?
Yes, Rachel invited me constantly.
Tell us the whole story.
Okay, so
your story.
My story is I was just now coming back to church, going maybe once a month, two times a month maybe, and I wasn't really feeling it a lot. It was hesitant for me, that's for sure. Rachel, my cousin, invited me to go to trek, which is a 4-year. Every 4 years, do this 3-day trek where you trek like pioneers through parks, wherever they really pick. But you don't bring phones, you don't bring any, modern technology or anything like that. You even dress like in pioneer clothing. I had to go to Goodwill for that, but
that's where I went too.
Yeah. In the attic.
Attic window.
So I didn't want to go at all. I thought it was stupid at the time. Little did I know it was the best experience of my life. But when I went to trek, first day, my experience was, this is boring. Especially at the beginning, we were all just standing around. They were giving us instruction, the regular stuff. I started pulling the cart and started working with everybody. I was like, well, this is kind of fun. My trek parents were amazing, which I might get into later, because they have a very big influence on my life as well. So you never know who you'll meet in certain places. Sometimes the person you meet in that grocery store will be the next person you meet in 10 years, and they'll be like, wow, okay, well, I did not expect this. It's the Lord works in very mysterious ways, and I think that these people came here to Indiana. They just recently moved to Indiana and went on the trek. This was like one of their first activities here, but trek was rough at first. I started getting along with everybody, my trek parents, your trek brother and sisters is what they called them. And they do little games, and we'd stop every time around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, kind of just like sit down and you'd eat and everything like that. The first day's food was really good. Second day's food, it was bad.
It was some good food.
It was some good food. I didn't like the second day, but they made like this cake the second day that was pretty good though.
We trekked like over 30 miles that whole weekend.
Oh wow!
Or the whole week or whatever.
Yeah, we went a while, but at the end of trek, we stopped at this beautiful place. Big like sycamore tree right in there in the middle, and just green plains, and then like forestry all in the back and everything like that. And we'd go walking over there, doing trails and stuff like that. But there was like this edge of this cliff that we were kind of, a couple people just go sit out on and stuff like that. And, I had like almost never met any of these people because I was in activities before this, so a lot of people were from the stake and different areas. So I was new to most of these people, almost everybody. And that worried me at first. That scared the heck out of me, because I'm not very I wasn't a very social person, especially back then. But every single person was so open, so comforting. There was nobody that's gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, that guy's weird." You know, they're all here for a reason, and they all have the Savior and the Spirit with them, and they're just nice. That was one of the biggest things for me. Trek was just an experience where, like, wow, all these people are just so amazing to be around with.
We're all family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly how it felt. And I bore my testimony for the first time ever at Trek, under that sycamore tree.
I remember that. I'll always remember it.
And I was so nervous. I was shaking. And I didn't want to get up at all. I was sitting there, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting up. I was like, I'm looking at all these people like, how are you standing right now? Like, I couldn't do it. There's so many people here. Probably 50, 60, 70, maybe towards 100 almost
people. There was
a
lot of people there.
And I was like, I ain't sitting up in front of any people. I don't even know these people. It's like, I ain't got nothing to say. My legs just moved. And I stood up and I was like, I just like to bear my testimony. And I went on and just said how great of an experience this was for me. I was like, you guys don't know me. Let's Chase. Like, I just introduced myself. It's a normal thing, you know. It's a great thing to be able to share it with others. To just get up and say that my feelings, my experience of this was so amazing that I am now, you know, progressing in my life in the gospel.
So before we get to that family that moved to Indiana that kind of helped you to the next phase, what was it about Trek? And so people understand, if you're not a member of the church and you're watching this, Trek is where we celebrate our pioneer ancestry. So you think of the saints that left Nauvoo in the dead of winter, and many of their family members died. So we were going to do Trek to go through some hardships so that we can kind of, you know, understand what they went through and kind of commemorate, you know, the sacrifices they made to follow Jesus Christ. So in the spirit of that, what do you think Trek did for you, Chase?
Trek, in the spirit of that, I'd have to say it just makes you realize, makes you want to know, you know, who does this for something.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does something for something. No one does things completely without even a little bit. Again, even if it's helping somebody with a service project, painting their house or something like that, that's still a gain for you because you receive their smile, their help. They say thank you so much. You know, that's still a gain. Yes, it's not obviously you getting anything from it, like physically, but that emotion that you get, that comforting feeling is still a gain. So that's exactly what when I saw Trek, and I'm like, our ancestors went through this.
Yeah.
This is a really tough thing, and they went through this, and it was way harder back then. I guarantee it.
as bad as we had it, and we probably felt like complaining sometimes.
Yeah.
They had it
100 times the worst. You know.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing was when we remembered, because we all had hand carts, and there was teams of us. What, probably 15 hand carts?
About, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around 12 to 15. And then we had this steep ravine, and it went like almost 90 degrees down. And there was mud everywhere. And what we had to do was we all had to work together and take them one at a time. And we used ropes to pull them down one at a time. And crazy. Took forever too.
Some people were taking their luggage out of their cart.
Mm-hmm.
Our team didn't do that. We were like, we're pushing through.
You kept all your supplies in the cart?
We kept all our supplies in the cart.
Yeah, they did it like men. And there was men and women involved with this, so they were all very manly.
Like that little women's push for a while there with all the women pushing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was the best part. I got to relax. I was pushing 90% of the time until that part.
And one of my other favorite things is when I heard the youth just break out into singing the hymns.
Oh yeah,
the hymns
the entire time. Or frozen something.
So would you say sacrifice and service part of that? And
100%, yes.
And it made you a lot stronger?
Oh yeah.
Would you say it was a spiritual experience for you?
The whole thing, easily.
Yeah.
I could not tell you this single time that at the time I probably didn't know it, but because I wasn't very accustomed to feeling the Spirit at the time. But now I can look back at that moment and say, I feel like as soon as I stepped in that area, the generalized area of the people, I was like, I'm feeling the Spirit.
That's very good.
Just hearing the leaders talk, hearing everyone so excited about the experience, you really do wonder what is going to happen. And so that's my experience on it. Trek was just a very amazing experience.
Yeah, and then I saw that you were pretty regular in coming to church, and you meet this family that moved from out of state to Indiana, and you got to know them. Tell us that story.
So, on Trek, I had 2 Trek parents. A Trek mom and pa, and they were just amazing people.
So you met them on Trek.
I met them on Trek. Yeah, they were my Trek parents.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you did say that. It just didn't register with my old 50-year-old brain.
They were my Trek parents, and their daughter was on Trek too.
Mm-hmm.
And she had like a little medical thing on Trek, and her mom was so worried. I remember sitting under that tree and stuff like that because I was talking to her mom, and her mom was worried about her because my uncle was over there. He's a paramedic, so he was over there helping her and stuff like that, and we were just talking. But essentially, I went and it was probably 8 months after Trek or something like that. 4 or 5 months, something like that. Not too long after Trek, but I was at today actually, 2 years ago, exactly today. There was a going by party for very good friends of mine, very good friends of the church as well, and others.
Oh yeah.
Can I say names on it?
That's his last name.
Okay. Yeah. So, she found me there. Their daughter that was having that medical issue. She found me there at this bi party, and she talked to me and stuff. And she's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to. My mom just loved you so much. She even tells her son that like, oh, he's the son I never had, like her son, like, and I didn't think that I made that big of like an influence on them at first. But she was talking about this. I'm like, you know what? That's so cool that I made that influence on them. And then she told me that they just recently moved. Trek was one of their first experiences here. And they're just like, we're so glad we found someone like Chase. Never got their numbers or anything because there's no phone on Trek. I didn't have my phone. They didn't have theirs, so it's like.
I don't remember if I had mine or not.
So I saw some people did bring them, but most people didn't.
You're not supposed to.
Not supposed to, yeah. But a lot of cameras though.
Yeah.
A lot of cameras. That was really cool to see actually.
And they had the drone.
The drone. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Whole video there.
I do have pictures and stuff, so I'll post them in the video so you can see.
No, they're real cool.
Yeah.
But she met me there today, 2 years ago, and she's like, she just kind of went up, and she left at first. Then she came back and was like, "Hey, can I get your number so I can give it to my mom?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. I'd love to talk to your mom again." I didn't get that number for a while, by the way. Me and this girl started talking, then ended up dating, and that right there, just being in their family was a crazy big blessing for me. Just the guidance that I got from her mom, her dad, her brother, even her sister, like all of them. When I met her at the time, I was still coming to church, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna go and read my scriptures tonight, or I'm gonna go pray tonight. I wasn't really strong.
You didn't have that direction yet.
Yes, I had no direction. I was just like, I know that this is giving me that good feeling. I'm like, I want to come back. I want to get it. I just said that, but I want to come back and go get this feeling again. And I was like, I got that when I went to church. And how far do you go into the dating?
You're fine.
All right. So I started dating her in like January. After this, we met in October, and then talked on and off. We went to this fireside in the stake building, and she comes out with a handful of cookies. And I asked for one. She didn't give me one until she ate like 3 of them. She had like 6 of them, but she gave me one. And it was a good cookie, but and then that next week, I invited her to a little like discussion thing at our church. One of the Quorum 12 were talking.
Yeah.
And she was singing the hymns and everything. I didn't sing the hymns. I was like, I ain't singing. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
But then she invited me over for Friday dinner, and that's where I started talking to her mom a lot more. And we started kind of talking a little more after this too. That like 2 weeks we started talking a lot. Then we started dating in January, the end of January, and just experience-wise, there was a lot of experiences, a lot of little things that just kind of guided me up to it and stuff like that. But I'd say about 3 months in, I went to Nauvoo, which is a place in Illinois.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I went for a youth trip. And I just recently got out of like high school at this point, I think. Yeah, I just graduated. So I was supposed to be in YSA, but I went to a youth trip. I went to a youth trip. That was a great experience. The girl I was dating, her mom was there again on another one of the trips that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with her like the entire time. It felt like I was constantly talking to her, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a moment we were in this big barn, and it was after we visited Carthage Jail, and then a little bit of a tour of Nauvoo. We were in this big barn for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of sat down in this middle of this barn with me and was like, I have felt prompted to just talk to you about going on a mission this entire time. And she's like, the way that you've been seeing everything, learning everything that you have on this trip, she's like, I just really feel prompted to tell you should think about going on a mission. She's like, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to tell you have to. It's not my place. She goes, I'm just going to tell you, I think you should think about it. Really give it some thought. Really pray about it. And I was like, even before this, me and her daughter had actually talked about me going on a mission, but I wasn't sure. I never wanted to go on a mission at first. I was like 2 years. I was like, no way.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's just like it thinks like it really is. It's the sacrifice with the blessing. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about it, and I'm probably about a month after, I was like, I think I need to go on a mission. Now, it wasn't, obviously, like I said, that's 2 years ago. So I'm leaving for my mission very soon, actually, within this month. In this month, I'm leaving for my mission. And this whole experience for me was just, it was a very, up roller coaster. It was from where I was at the bottom. I don't think there was a moment I went down.
Mm-hmm.
These last 2 years, there were just so many good moments and stuff like that. And there's hard moments too, but I think that's honestly what makes you jump even higher, is those trials, those hard moments. Because if you can push through those hard moments, and what's all these easy moments for,
Mm-hmm. After the trial cometh the blessings.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so if you show your faith and your works as well, you will receive all those blessings. And that's exactly what happened. I started to take that feeling of going to church, how I was like, oh, that's a good feeling. And I started to put it in my everyday life. Not just Sunday or Monday or once or twice a week. No, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, the difference between just 2 or 3 days and then a gap, and then again, is astronomical. It's insane. It's crazy, and you really feel it as soon as you think. And I think what made it feel so strong to me is that when I was younger and I didn't have the Spirit with me or anything, because I wasn't living by the commandments, I wasn't doing the greatest things, I wasn't seeking out prayer or scriptures and studying them. But as soon as I started to do that, there's no way I could have went through the things I already went through in the last 2 years. There's no way. Because I went through some hard things. Things that I would have probably broken down from 3-4 years ago. So the Spirit being with you, knowing that God loves you, is so strong that it's like nothing else. Everything's weak in comparison to God.
And realizing that He's done all this to get you where you're at right now.
It's all part of the plan. And you can look back and you can look back and see some awful things that happen in everyone's life. Everyone has their experiences and stuff like that, and they're like, why did that happen to me? I'm like, it happened to make you stronger. It's there's no strength in weak. You go through weak things, you're not going to become strong. There's a saying that strong men make weak men, and weak men make strong men.
Yeah.
Or strong men make weak men. Weak men make hard times make strong men.
I will Google that quote. And
Do that, because I messed that up. I definitely messed it up a bit.
Hey, they're used to that. I mess them up all the time.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
There's so many quotes and stuff like that. I mean, quotes are just amazing. It's great to hear about. And if we talk about our prophets and apostles and the Quorum 12, I mean, there's so many quotes in their talks and stuff like that. Things you can learn just from sitting there and listening to them. And with a general conference coming up and stuff like that, hopefully, we can see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Actually, within these talks.
So between the mother at Nauvoo telling you, hey, I feel impressed to talk to you about a mission, and I'm not going to force it on you, but you need to start thinking about it. Did you start thinking about it, and was there a point where you finally said, yeah, Heavenly Father really does want me?
Yeah, so as soon as she told me that, I started to be like, I was worried. And I'm sure this happens to a lot of single adults who are in a relationship, because I thought I was going to, get married. I was like, she's amazing. And so I was worried. Leaving her for 2 years, and I wasn't going to make her wait on me or anything like that. I didn't want to do that. It wasn't necessarily what it felt like I should do. I felt like she had to live, I had to live, But I did not want to leave, because I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't know financially. I really had never been a person that's been out of the house for a long time. I always stayed close to my parents. They're older, and so I always try to help them out, because they can't do everything around here without being bedridden the next day. So I was always around my parents. I never left for a long period of time, like weeks or even months or anything like that, really. This is a big thing for me. I didn't want to leave, but I met a couple missionaries, especially in the YSA branch, and just talking to them, talking about their experiences, what they went through. I'm like, man, I was like, my struggles are nothing. I was like, they're just talking about it, all of their experiences, how they had to walk to, like, one of them had to walk to church because their parents didn't really believe in the church.
That's hard.
Church was 10 minutes away by car. And so they had to get up early every day and just walk over to church every Sunday. And it was like, filled the mission papers out and everything without even their parents really knowing, because they had just turned, I think they were like 19 when they were in our branch. They just turned kind of 18, 19 at the time. And just looking back, all the people, like, I have the support. My parents are members. I have support of the branch in here where we live, the local branch. I have tons of support, and that's amazing. And I know that if I went on a mission, every single person would support me. Yeah, my mission call, there was quite a few people who weren't members too, part of my family. Some of my family are members. My aunt came up to me and was like, I'm so glad you're going on a mission. I saw you up there, and I knew that was the right thing. She had went to church early in her life, but I never stick to it now. But the Lord touches all of us like that.
Yeah.
And so, the most deciding factors of me not going was just, I was scared to leave everything behind. Leave for 2 years in a state I could have been foreign. I had no clue where I was going to go. And that unknown is super scary. Unknown is always scary, but that's exactly why we have to step into the unknown, because we have zero clue. We think it's scary. And it could be cuddles and rainbows, but
yeah.
If it's not scary, then you're not learning anything from it. If it's not this challenge where you're testing yourself, then you don't go anywhere from it. If everything's easy, then it's just, you don't learn much.
Yeah, it's like in my book, Doctrine of Fighter, You go into a gym. What's the point of going into a gym if there's no weights and no resistance? If no one goes to a gym or gets a gym membership to have it easy. They want to go test themselves and help themselves grow. They break down their body to build it up, right?
Break down all the little fibers, build it up, and guess what? You get stronger, especially after a long period of time. And consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency will make you a warrior. That's exactly what it'll make you.
So what I hear in all that is the Lord was working through you, and you became more and more convinced of it.
Oh yeah.
That He really wanted to get you to where He wanted you to be, and you're making those decisions on your own to do it, to make those sacrifices, and you realize that it's the harder road. Following Jesus Christ is what's going to benefit you the most.
Exactly.
So before we end this, I want to ask you some questions about your mission. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, so 3 things that you want to accomplish on your mission, and 3 things that you think will be a challenge on your mission.
Okay, so I've thought of these actually a little bit of these.
Yeah.
So 3 things that I want to accomplish on my mission. I want to come back, and I've like my uncle, Uncle Brett. He is scriptorian.
Yeah.
I mean, you can give him verse after verse, and he'll know everything. Like he's just a very knowledgeable person. I want to come back like that. I want to come back like that. I want to come back and just be able to be so knowledgeable with the Spirit, because it's such a blessing to have all these tools. I like to call them tools. He shared a story with me the other day, but I'm sure he'd get into it. But that's one thing I want to come back with. Another thing I want to come back with is consistency. Consistency in the gospel is the strongest thing you can have easily. And right now, I'm getting snippets of it. I feel it, especially preparing for my mission. But I want to come back and be like, this is like breathing air to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly how I think everyone should think. You know, it's like it's amazing to have that, just a natural thing to be a disciple of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And the final thing I'd have to say that I really want to get from my mission, the people on my mission. That's what I want to just accomplish. All these connections. I hear people talk about all these people from the missions and stuff like that. This, like a drill sergeant you met that one time or something like that. Just different things like that.
Staff Sergeant Garza.
Yep. Yep.
He used to call me Daggone Iowa, even though I'm from Indiana. I had to correct him every time.
It's just that right there. Those connections you make on the mission are unreal. And I want to come back and be like, yeah, I met this person at this, and this. So that's one of the biggest things I want to accomplish on my mission, because they are truly just amazing things to go back and be like, I got this friend in Washington. Yeah, I'm going to Washington, Vancouver.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Yep, so I've been out that far west.
You're going to a great area. I lived in Seattle for a year, so it was amazing.
I've had a bunch of people tell me they either live there or they went there for trips. My sister, the month before I read my mission call, she just went out to Seattle for a little like 4 or 5 day vacation kind of thing. She's like, it's beautiful. She wanted to move there when she came back.
Beautiful people and beautiful place. It is. So what's the 3 challenges that you think you'll face?
3 challenges, a lot more than 3, but the challenges I'd have to say are definitely going to be just getting accustomed to the life of living. Like I said, I'd never been really outside of my parents' house for long periods of times. I've always been trying to stay close to them because they're older. Just trying to help them. So that's definitely a big challenge for me. It's gonna be stressful, but you know, if we don't go through that hard time, we don't improve.
Right.
Another challenge for me is since I left the church when I was a little younger, and this goes with my my accomplishment as well, kind of 2 and 2. My challenge, I feel, is my knowledge. My knowledge is not probably the greatest. I left the church when I was 10, going on to almost 16. So I had a big period of my life, especially where you go to seminary, which is like a class we take in the morning to really help the youth and stuff like that, learn a lot of the scripture and stuff. I didn't go to those. And I felt it at first. I was like, all these people talking about the stories and different things and Bible stories and Book of Mormon stories. I was like, I didn't know them. Now that I've read the scriptures a lot more, I know some of the stories and stuff like that, but I still feel a little inadequate in my knowledge.
That'll get resolved.
And I know that, and that was a big thing. For the factor that I wanted to go on mission. I'm like, what? I was like, why would I go and teach something I don't even know? I'm like, especially back then, those 2 years ago, I was like, I barely know anything, I feel like. And then I started to be like, if I want to go teach this, I got to know this. I got to know the gospel. You can't teach the gospel without the Spirit. That's 100% true. You can't, we're human. We can't move hearts.
Yeah.
Spirit can move hearts. Spirit can really move hearts, and it's what gets a lot of people. Then the third challenge, I'm trying to think of one that's a big challenge. I feel like that's going to be for me. I guess I'll just do. I don't know. There's so many I feel like I can think about that are kind of just like the little things, the stress, dealing with, not being around modern things that we have. We're allowed to have a phone, but we're not allowed to bring like our mobile phones, like our phones from here and stuff on social media or anything like that. Like, I love me a good like Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels. I'll scroll on and find like good recipes or something like that on, or cool videos. It's like. So taking a break from, I guess I'll say that, taking a break from all of the worldly things, watching shows. I got shows coming out like next year that I was looking forward to, and stuff like that. It's like,
you'll have fun the day after you come home.
Oh yeah, I'll be watching so much. I'll be like, do not talk to me. This entire week, I will be in this room and I'll be finishing every show that I missed. But that's going to be a struggle. You get rid of a lot of things we're so accustomed to. So, people are attached to their phones. I'm included. You look at your screen time, you're like, whoa, I didn't think I'd be on that phone that much. I was like, I spent half my day every day. It's like, so throwing those away is a big challenge, especially when you get so accustomed and used to them. But I also plan to keep that kind of up on after my mission, because I don't want to be on my phone like I was in this like month or so, where I was just constantly on. When I get back from the mission, I want to be able to like put this down and go do something a little more productive, because scrolling fast.
Yeah.
You learn things sometimes, especially if you have like good reels and stuff like that are knowledgeable. I learned a lot of the stuff I know from like working out and everything like that through social media. Social media is, it's got good and bad sides. Yeah. That is for sure. There's a Taft Benson. Did I say his name? I thought so, yeah. I was almost call it Ezra. So I almost call it. There's a Taft Benson, a prophet. I don't know what prophet he was, but he has a talk about social media. When it was getting, because during his time it was getting really big and everything, that's blowing up a lot. And so, especially in the youth, social media has become a big thing, obviously, in youth. Like, I probably use social media maybe a little more than Jefferson does.
I use it a little bit.
That's true. Yeah. YouTube and all that. But
I'm a Gen Xer, though, so I'm not in his circle of things.
But those are my challenges for my mission. It's a lot of the things that we sacrifice, we take away from our lives so that we can help others get under the gospel, because this feeling that you get when you're in this church is like none other. It's truly amazing church. Amazing people are always in it. You'll always find people, always find the good apples.
Well, we're going to go ahead and end this and thank Chase for doing this. And I think you're going to be a great missionary. And don't worry about the knowledge thing, because I can tell you this much. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. What the people need to hear is your testimony, that you know that Jesus Christ lives, that there's a prophet of God on the earth, and that the Book of Mormon is the words of Jesus Christ. That was my answer to every concern people brought up to me on my mission. I try to answer every question before my mission, try to have a really smooth and thought out answer for if they ask this question or that question. But what I found myself doing when I was on my mission was just bearing testimony that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that Joseph Smith restored his church to the earth in 1830, and that he brought forth the Book of Mormon by the power of God, and that it is truly the words of Jesus Christ. And if you pray about it, the Lord will let you know if you have real intent. So thanks, Chase, for taking this time,
Of course.
and I look forward to seeing you come home in 2 years, and hopefully I won't be too much older.
Maybe we do another one.
Yeah,
Come
we'll do
back
it.
and
We'll
see
do
how
it. We'll do a debrief
There
after
you
you
go.
watch your 24 or 25 movies.
Yep.
That you
Yep.
guys All right. Well, thanks for watching this video, and remember, always like and subscribe, and go to Amazon to buy my book, Doctrine of a Fighter. I promise you, it will help you draw closer to Jesus Christ. It doesn't replace the scriptures, but everything I put in there is 30 years of me practicing being a disciple of Jesus Christ and all the things that I've learned. So I've written it to help people. So go and buy my book, and I promise you it'll bring the Spirit into your life. Thanks. Have a great week. Okay, thanks for watching this video. If you made it to the end, you're a trooper. Hope you learned and gained something from Chase's story. I know I did. I just have a few small thoughts to make at the end of this video, just so that I make sure that people that watch this video don't miss the opportunities that Chase's story provides. So in life, we all go through all these experiences. We have people that we're surrounded by, and we have people that come into our lives that either impact us for good or for worse. And it's really up to us to decide the road we take in life. And everything is either a stumbling block or a stepping stone. So for Chase, he had two, what I gathered from it and what I can remember, there was two parts to his story that were very vital to the path that he ended up taking. Now, obviously, like I just said, it's all based on his choice, but he had his cousin Rachel, who he said was persistent. She didn't let up inviting him to track. Now, he could have been just as persistent and not coming. Remember, he said that he really didn't want to go, but then he went, and he was glad he went. And that's following that inner voice within us. That's following what the Lord would have us to do. Often we will get challenged by other people, or we'll feel it within ourselves that there's something we should do, even though we don't want to do it. We know it's the right thing to do, but for whatever reason, there's opposition, and we just don't want to do it. But if we overcome that and just, force ourselves sometimes to do things. How often have you been asked to do service or something like that, and you don't want to do it, but then you go and do it, and you feel better for having done it? Well, that's the experience that I took from what Chase was sharing. And then a family comes into his life, and this family was vital. But it was more important his response to the family. He took their good example and took it to heart. He internalized it. Just like Enos in the Book of Mormon, if you go to the Book of Enos went hunting, and he was pondering things. I don't know all the particulars of what led him to this, but he did say he remembered the words of his father and the joy of the saints. He took it deep into his heart. But then he made the ultimate choice. He decided to take it to God in prayer. And then he had a mighty conversion, a mighty change of heart. Well, Chase did the same thing. He just didn't push these things off. He took the invite of Rachel and went to trek and had a great experience. And then when this family came in to his life, he took it to heart, the things that his girlfriend's mother and father said to him and the great example they were to him. And then he made a decision whether he was going to follow Jesus Christ or not by going and serving a mission. And that was his choice. And so now he's going to have tons of challenges and tons of blessings as he serves the Lord faithfully. And through that process, like he talked about, he's going to grow. And if you're a member or a non-member alike, you can understand this. If you want to improve your body physically, you have to exercise. You have to eat right. There's all these things that you have to do for your body to grow and to develop. Well, it's the same way spiritually. There's things that we have to do in this life to grow and develop. Whether it's serving a mission, whether it's every day deciding to read your scriptures, singing hymns, saying your prayers, living the commandments, all of these things sometimes require conscious effort. And sometimes, let's just be honest, we're either lazy or procrastinating. We don't want to do those things. We'd rather go do those comfortable things. Well, I want to challenge you. Do those things inside of you that you know you should be doing to draw closer to Christ. Read your scriptures, say your prayers, and if you feel prompted, go on Amazon and buy my book and read it. I promise you it will help guide you, and it's like a cheerleader. It will cheer you on to do those things that you know inside are right to do. I bear my testimony to you that Jesus is the Christ, and his promises are sure, and as imperfect as we are, this road that we're taking to eternal life, it's only going to be perfected because of what Jesus Christ did for us. But if we put our faith in him and follow his living prophets, I promise you that your life will become more and more closer to him. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you have a great week. Bye.